Okay, we're gonna cover the control panel a little more in detail now. We started the machine up with power. This was our control voltage, like we pointed out. Everything is in place for that. These two little lights right here, they are triggered from the tracking. So what you don't want to see is them solid on or solid off. They're going to blink on and off. That's with the tracking system. So as long as they're blinking on and off, maybe once a second or so, it tells you the belt's tracking. These yellow lights, they're basically alarms for an overload or whatever like that. They should normally be off. This switch right here controls the bed up and down. So we've got control power. If I put it in the up position, this little symbol right here, it allows us to use these switches. And you can see by the digital here, this arrow, this is opening it, making it for a thicker part, and this is making it for a thinner part. Okay? If we switch to this position like so, there's a foot pedal. If I push this is a little more confusing, but if I push the foot pedal the first time, you can see the number over here is getting bigger, it's going down. If I let off the foot pedal, hit it again, now it's closing it. And when it closes it, if you choose to use the thickness, the auto thickness gauge, a piece would be under here, like so. It'd come up and it'd hit that little cone. I'm just using my finger there, but it hits that little cone and that stops it. The next time I hit the pedal, it's going to go down. So all this thing really is right here is a switch. It can be adjusted, so when you put your piece under it, if it's, in this case, if it measures 477 thick, I should be able to come up to it. I usually have it set so I can bring it up, and this switch will stop it at pretty close to that 477. It's really a measurement device to tell you how thick your part is. Keep in mind, if you put a thinner corner of a board under there, it doesn't realize, it's not going to tell you that the other side was thicker, so you could be sanding off too much. But again, that's what this switch is for. It switches between the two systems. When it's in the down position, these buttons don't work. So to make the buttons work, this has to be up here, and then the up and down works. Okay. The feed mat this is our feed speed. This is on for the feed mat, and let's see. You can see it feeding there. That's 21.6 feet per minute. This switch increases or decreases that feed rate. It's a variable speed. It's an automatic motor on the back. Usually 15 to, somewhere in the 15 to 20 feet a minute is probably the most typical use. So again, this is off for the feed mat, on, and when it's on, only when it's on, you can change the speed. So that's the readout for that. Again, starting from the bottom, our control voltage, alarms, our table buttons up and down right here, our thickness readout, the feed mat control. Over here to the left is heads 1, 2, or 3, so their selectors what we're going to use. And what they control are these air cylinders right here, hooked to this eccentric. So that drum, if we want to engage head number 1, we're going to turn that selector switch number 1 on, and if we also want to run number 2, that would be on. Number 3 is for the platen, which you won't see anything happen, but that's what it's for. We'll get to the platen in a second. That's controlled by these timers. So if we're going to start up the heads, which the amp meter's up here at the top, and the start and stop button, I'm going to select number 1, number 2, and this is not to run them. There's one motor in this machine, so they're both going to be running. This selects the height, if they're down, up or down. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on number 3. This bulb seems to flash when it's not running sometimes. Not sure I can explain why and when that does that, but it's consistent. So here's on.